Would you like to know why Amazon is so successful? Because the customer is all that matters.
Look, we all know Jeff Bezos is filthy rich. $150 billion filthy rich to be exact. But while Bezos is over here being a jerk about his fat stacks, where does he even stand on the list of the richest people in human history? The answer just may surprise you, so make sure you stick around until the end to see who sits atop the money pile.
Where's the Italian?
First up on our list is the guy who is single-handedly the reason for the polar ice caps melting. Henry Ford. Anyways, in 1903, Ford founded the Ford Motor Company. Ford invented the Model T, which was basically the Maserati of the early 1900s. But by 1927, he had sold 15 million of those bad boys. That fended pretty well for the automobile mogul, which brought his value up to a whopping $200 billion in today's value. Too bad he was really the first domino toward a global manufacturing industry that is putting the world's turtles, penguins, and polar bears in grave danger. But you gotta kill a few cute and fluffy animals to get to the top, right? Alright, next up. This next guy is one of the fiercest, coldest, dirtiest players in the game, pulling up on anyone who stood in his way. You guessed it, coming in at number 14 on our list is railroad tycoon Cornelius Vanderbilt. But seriously, if you guessed that, I don't know, I guess here's a gold star. Anyways, Corny was born poor like the most of us. He started shipping shiitake mushrooms around New York with his pops in the early 1800s. He was so well known for taking over other shipping companies that other company owners started paying off Vanderbilt so that they wouldn't compete with him anymore. How BA is that? However, later on in his life, Vanderbilt saw a gold mine in the railroad industry. First New York, and then Chicago, and then the world! Well, maybe I'll just stop at Chicago. Corny virtually owned all of the railroads between New York and Chicago, made them hecka efficient, and rolled in the dough for the rest of his life. And then he started a university that he named after himself, made the team nickname his own nickname, the Commodores, and then made the mascot look like himself. Like I said, this was one cold mother trucker. When Vanderbilt passed away, he was estimated to be worth $202 billion today. Is it really a top 15 richest people of all time list without at least one international pariah? Unfortunately, it's not. Coming in at number 13 on our list is the former leader of Libya, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi took power of Libya after a bloodless coup of then King Idris in 1969. I think it's safe to say that this dude was not super liked on the world stage though. But he got away with it for so long because he could play the trump card of having a crap ton of oil under his country. Gaddafi passed away in 2011 during the Libyan Revolution. It was a little more intense than I made it sound, but we won't get into that right now. Libyan officials estimated that Gaddafi had stolen around $212 billion of the country's oil revenues and put it in secret bank accounts, shady investments, and suspicious real estate deals. So yeah, basically this dude was no Mother Teresa. If you thought Corny Vanderbilt was one cold mother trucker, wait until you hear about this guy coming in at number 12 on our list, William the Conqueror. Willie may have been born to the Duke of Normandy, France, but dang was he bullied as a kid. Like, kind of a lot. Later on, Willie hung out with his friend and cousin, Edward, the King of England. Long story short, Edward didn't have any kids to take over the throne after he bit the dust, so he promised it to his good buddy William. But when Edward was actually on his deathbed, he promised his right-hand man Harold the crown. Willie did not like that very much. So he did what anyone would do. He got support from the Pope to overthrow England and violently took over the throne for himself. King Willie spent the rest of his days pillaging villages across England, Scotland, and Wales and building huge structures across his new land, amounting to a value of $228 billion in today's money. Let's just say they didn't call him Jacob Moneybags Fugger for nothing. Wait, they did call him that, right? Anyways, coming in at number 11 on our list is Jacob Fugger. Fugger was a banker, merchant, and businessman in 16th century Germany that owned approximately 9% of all German wealth and 2% of all of Europe's wealth. This dude was loaded. So loaded, in fact, that the race for Holy Roman Emperor in 1517 was only able to be won with bribe money that could be provided by, you guessed it, Fugger. Oh, and let's not forget that when Martin Luther hammered those 95 Theses on the doors of the Catholic Church, half of the money being made off of all indulgences paid by the Catholic people were going directly to Fugger. I think it's safe to say that buying out the biggest election in Europe and splitting the Christian church forever can only happen if you're one rich mother Fugger. Coming in at number 10 on our list is the billionaire playboy philanthropist, Tony Stark. Hey, who's been messing with my scripts? Corny, was it you? Anyways, actually coming in at number 10 on our list is the last ruler of the state of Hyderabad in India, Osman Ali Khan. This dude was the Bezos of his time. Magazine, that is. Get it? Khan ruled the, quote, princely state of Hyderabad. This state had so much money that Khan sent in 2 naval vessels and 2 Royal Air Force squadrons to Britain during World War II. Can you see the state of Montana doing something so BA? At its peak, Khan's net worth was approximately $230 billion today, which is equivalent to 2% of the United States' entire economy. Tsar Nichols was given everything he ever wanted by his dad, including the throne to all of Russia in 1896, giving him a value of $300 billion in the 9th spot on our list. It should be noted that Tsar Nick was not super likable after sending his poor country into an unwinnable war with Japan. This mistake ended with Nick and his fam bam trying to seek asylum in Britain, failing to do so, and then being captured and having their life taken by Russian forces in Siberia. In that moment, the fortune and even the throne was stripped away from Nicholas's family line forever. But hey, that's what happens when you hoard all the money your country has and then send it into an unwinnable war. All I'm saying is that karma is a... I think it's safe to say you've heard of this next dude before, but have you heard of his beard? I mean, look at that thing. So clean, so chic. Coming in at number 8 is the Steel Titan himself, Andrew Carnegie. This dude was the epitome of good timing. Railroads, they were expanding. American cities, they were expanding too. So what did America and the world need? That sweet, smooth steel, baby. And the boys down at Carnegie Steel Company got your back. But hold on a second. We got this idea that all rich people are jerks, right? Not this dude. Andy Boy gave away 90% of his $337 billion fortune to different charities and educational institutions at the end of his life. Who said nice guys finish last? Without the guy at number 7 on our list, we would never experience the amazing times we've all spent fuming in anger at our friends and family after an infuriating game of Monopoly. Next up, we have the oil man himself, John D. Rockefeller. Picture this. It's 1863 and America is freaking out because their dumb lamps keep exploding and burning down their houses. Johnny Rock was all like, "Great Scott, I've got the greatest idea ever. Let's put kerosene that won't explode in the lamps." Yeah, I mean, that basically got the American buyers on board. So much so, in fact, that he owned 90% of the oil industry, which brought his values up to $367 billion. The government got mad at him, though, and made sure that there would never be another monopoly again. But we still got a stupidly infuriating board game out of it. So, lucky us, I guess. If you thought T'Challa and the country of Wakanda seemed pretty stacked, wait until you see this next guy. Coming in at number 6 on our list is Mansa Musa I of Mali. Musa was the ruler of Mali during a portion of the 14th century, and this guy was loaded. He ruled a vast portion of West Africa, controlled half of the world's gold at the time, and he had a mere value of $415 billion. Oh, and it was clear that this dude loved to flex. Story has it that in the year 1324, Musa decided he would take the pilgrimage to Mecca. This dude brought tens of thousands of soldiers, workers, and heralds. He just waltzed his way through Egypt and was like, "Oh, all this? It's nothing, bruh. I got it all with that Kohl's cash last week." Power to ya, King Musa. Coming in at number 5 on our list, but by far the oldest fart up here, we got King Solomon of Israel stepping up to the plate. We're going all the way back to biblical times for this big rich boy. According to biblical accounts, Solomon was one of the wealthiest kings in the history of Israel. He used a vast majority of his wealth to build what would become the first temple in Jerusalem for the Jewish people. They could have made a whole season of MTV Cribs just about this temple Solomon built for his crew. But they also would have burned up and died the second they stepped into the quote, Holy of Holies, just like those bad guys that will not be named in Indiana Jones. Anyways, it's estimated that Solomon's worth amounted to a mind-boggling $2.2 trillion. Oh shoot, we're bringing up the big guns now. Number 4 on our list is the dude who began one of the longest lasting empires in the history of the world, and also made one of the most delicious salads ever known to mankind. We got Augustus Caesar coming up, y'all. Augustus is known as the first emperor of Rome, but he didn't even go by that because he was the one to set up Rome as an empire in the first place. Historians estimate that his net worth would be $4.63 trillion today. And I'm not a historian, but with that fat stack, I would not be surprised if Augustus Caesar ended up looking a little bit like Augustus Gloop toward the end of his life, if you know what I'm saying. Crashing the party at number 3 on our list is none other than Akbar the First, not to be mistaken with the Admiral.
It's a trap!
Akbar was the emperor of the Mughal Empire in India during the late 1500s. This dude conquered so much land in and around India that he controlled 25% of the world's economy during that time period. That would amount to $21 trillion today. Akbar used this money to flex on everyone and literally live the lifestyle of a king. He set up his court with artists, poets, musicians, you name it. Needless to say, Akbar was a pretty lavish dude who had money and was sure to flex on anyone and everyone. Coming in at number 2 on our list is billionaire playboy. Corny, for real, you gotta stop messing with my scripts, man. Coming in at number 2 on our list is Emperor SHENZONG of the Song Dynasty in China. This dude amounted to about $30 trillion and 30% of the world's economy during that time. Emperor SHENZONG led the Song Dynasty and set up systems to have better financial support for peasants, but also enforce stricter ways of getting taxes paid, so that the government and himself could rake in all the dough they could get. It is said that many of SHENZONG's adopted policies can be seen implemented today by the welfare state of China. Pretty good for having come up with that almost 1,000 years ago. Gold star for SHENZONG. Well, we've done it, guys. We've reached the top of our list. Coming in at the top spot for the richest person of all time is none other than Genghis Khan. This dude was the baddest, meanest, and coldest dude of them all. Sorry, Corny, you don't even come close, my man. Like I was saying, this dude absolutely posterized a huge portion of the world. The Mongolian Empire, even after Khan passed away, conquered 12 million square miles of land, which is roughly the same size as the African continent. And it's safe to say that they did not do so in bloodless fashion. All this to say, Khan's estimated net worth is over $100 trillion today. And he ended up spreading the wealth among those he ruled, which is good, right? Except for all that other stuff. Did you like this video? Our friends at Brainiac present all the amazing facts that you wished you learned in school, from how-tos to survival tips for every situation imaginable. It's just perfect for showing off your knowledge and flexing your intelligence on your friends and coworkers. It's hilarious content that you won't want to miss. So yeah, take that, Bezos. You don't even stand a chance. Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe and answer in the comments below what you would do with $100 trillion. Thanks for watching The Richest, and we'll see you next time.